Okay, we've dropped the engine and split the engine and transmission. Couple observations. Both side heat exchangers have quite a bit of oil. Not sure how much of that is residual. I'm going to look at it tonight. I haven't wiped anything off, so I can look at it with the smart light and possibly determine where the oil leak's coming from. Got the engine tin back on after our phone conversation. It didn't talk about the clutch, pressure plate, etc. Pretty sure the transmission input shaft bearing or seal is leaking. We'll go ahead and take care of that. Here's the old clutch and pressure plate. The clutch disc is a goner. You can see it's contaminated with oil. The pressure plate has very little wear. It'll have to be cleaned up. This discoloration is from the oil contamination, but this can be cleaned up and used. On the other side, the fingers have really no discernible wear. You can't even feel. So I think this must have been a new pressure plate at some point. The flywheel is also discolored, but I think it's totally usable. It needs a new pilot bearing. You can see where probably the rear main seal was leaking, or there was some kind of leakage. That's all this streaks here, that's all. But I don't think it needs to be resurfaced. The inside of the transmission is all oily. And interesting thing was, there's a pilot bearing in the flywheel, but for some reason, and I don't know if it's got to do with this being a bus case, maybe a bus crankshaft, not sure, but there was an additional pilot bearing in here that is not needed. So it took a little bit to get it out, but I was able to drive it out using grease and a punch. And then I'm going to put some epoxy on these oil galley plugs to minimize the chance of them blowing out. The other thing, there's only 2 shims in here. There should always be at least 3. I mean, occasionally if you can't get it right, you might use 4, but 3 shims is standard on how you adjust the end play. So this is minus a shim, and there's probably felt like it had excessive end play. So I'll have to set the end play, which you bolt a flywheel up, put a feeler gauge or a dial indicator, or you can use feeler gauge, and move the flywheel in and out with pry it in and out and measure how much in forward aft travel it's got, and it should be 0.00 4 thousandths is all you should have. And you adjust that by changing the middle shim, or in this case we will add a middle shim because there isn't one. Not sure what kind of damage, internal damage, that might have caused to the engine, but it's not good.